Hello, I'm Benny Westside, and welcome to the crash course for Nimrod. Today we're going to talk about Nimrod's abilities, T4 upgrades, ISO 8 options, how much you should build him, and then I'll talk about my plans and Dark Dimension prospects. This video goes out to Dulam. What's up? Alright. I had one more note. Yes! There's going to be a crash course infographic. I will link it down below. Make sure to check that out. Alright, let's start with his abilities. Sentinel has a very important passive. He gives the team speed stat for each summoned tech ally, and it doesn't specify Orchis. This is really important. It only works in raids. Outside of raids, it's only for himself, but it's a key element. But the good part is it's not tied to his T4. So on kill he gains stealth. While he has stealth, he gains extra damage and crit damage. He has 10% speed for each summoned tech ally, up to 50%. In raids, he does this for Orchis allies as well. And then in raids, on successful ally by this character or any Orchis ally, he applies heal block to each attacked target. That's nice. The T4 upgrade in raids, if he has 4 or more Orchis allies, this also counts summoned Sentinel bots. He will lower dodge chance for all enemies by 100%. I think this is very nice, but I wouldn't call it essential. I think it would improve raid experience. It would probably improve simability, but if we're looking at it from essential, non-essential perspective, I wouldn't call this essential. I would just call it high value. Alright, now let's look at his ultimate. Attack primary and adjacent for damage. Apply defense down, disrupted both for 2 turns. This is unavoidable. The team has a lot of unavoidable attacks already, so like reducing dodge chance is less impactful than it seems at initial glance, and it's only tied to raids. The T4 upgrades adds damage, gives the attack 100% crit chance, and there's a hidden upgrade. It also applies trauma for 2 turns to all targets if he has 3 or more Orchis allies. This is a very nice upgrade. Is it essential? I would say this is borderline essential. It doesn't like put trauma with stun or ability block, but it's still a free trauma. So, and it's not tied to any game mode. The thing is, it's tied to having 3 or more Orchis allies, so it's not like you can use them plug and play for this. That's why I'm hesitant. I am gonna say almost essential, but not quite. Alright. His special is on a 3-turn cooldown. This is great, especially because Scientist Supreme gives them 3 special energy on spawn in raids, so he's always going to have this up no matter what, and it's his big AoE. Attack all enemies for piercing, flip 3 buffs into debuffs, and then he gets more damage per Sentinel bot. He applies ability block to primary. In raids, he also applies stun to primary. This attack cannot be dodged. Again, it's an AoE undodgeable, so reducing the dodge chance of all enemies loses its face value. The T4 upgrade makes him flip all buffs instead of just 3. He applies ability block for 2 turns instead of 1. And then, I think this is the most important part. In raids, he applies ability block to all mutant enemies. I think this is very impactful in raids, especially like this Orchis raid, because they designed the nodes for this team coming up. There's so many mutants, and there's like Sasquatches that are taunting, and you can't get to the North Star. So this allows him to ability block the North Stars regardless of where he is. It allows him to ability block the Apocalypse, the Nightcrawler, so I'm gonna call this an essential one. Alright, basic. Attack primary and adjacent for damage, apply defense down. Again, unavoidable. And then the T4 adds a little bit more damage and doubles the defense down. I think this is nice. Definitely not essential. So, you might have noticed over here he has some crit damage boost, and then in his ultimate it's a guaranteed crit. All of his abilities are multi-hits. I think he's going to be a good raider. I don't think, I don't really see the case for any other ISO class. So yeah, I would say he's a raider, and that's gonna work well for him because he can set up vulnerables for Lady Deathstrike and Sentinel. In terms of building, he is a big damage dealer on the team. Oh, one moment before we move on from ISO. He has ability blocks, stun, flips, trauma. These are important debuffs, especially when controlling those North Stars that I mentioned. So test it out until you feel comfortable with the focus. I think Skirmisher, you might need that crutch of 50% focus, but his ideal case, once he's maybe 5/5, I'm really not sure. Play it where you are, see what it looks like, and swap to Raider once you're comfortable. Alright, now, building him, he's a big damage dealer, and he does need the focus, so I will say build him as much as you can. I think he's going to be good. He probably will see use outside of raids and off this team as well, because he gets this speed from any tech summon. So you can run him with Sinister 6. There might be some interesting combos for him. That might provide like a very early ability block in a different game mode. I would recommend building him as much as you're willing to. For Dark Dimension, he doesn't have any self-sustain. If you don't have any bots, he's not fast. He has some good control, and he has like new meta stats. So I'll say this. For Dark Dimension 7, if you're running like a mostly Orchis comp, sure, definitely, that team will do well. If you're running him with Cabal, they'll help keep him alive because leader will heal. So I think he'll do well. He'll do all right with Cabal as well. But I don't think you can do like Illuminati, Nightcrawler, and Nimrod, and then expect Nimrod to be that great. That's my take. So I'm not like fervently recommending him, but I'm also not saying he's a bad choice. I think he's a conditional choice. As for my plans, I'm not gonna buy him. Definitely not. Maybe towards the end, once I'm at like 85 shards, 90 shards, I'll core a couple orbs to get to the finish line. But I don't plan on spending on him. That said, once I do unlock him, I'll take him to probably immediately gear 18. And maybe level 100 as well, and then maybe level gear 19 down the line as well. Yeah, so that's my plans. As for DD8, we can talk about it briefly. I think similar case with DD7. Will do well with on an Orchis team. He'll do okay with Cabal. The thing is, we don't know the node comps yet for DD8, so it might all get toppled, but that's just a tentative discussion. All right, yeah, I think that's about it. I'll try to get the graphic out, as I mentioned. I'll link it down below. I always do these crash courses when characters come out. Now, okay, if you have unlocked Nimrod, whether it's today when this video goes out and you buy him and you unlock him, or it's down the line with me, you unlock him free to play. By this time, you probably, hopefully, also have Sentinel unlocked. I will link a video down below that I released this past weekend, which shows you that this team does not need Omega Sentinel at all. The 4 characters, LDS, Scientist Supreme, Sentinel, and Nimrod, do really well with Mysterio as their 5th in the Orchis Tech section in the hardest difficulty. I'll link that video down below. I really recommend you check that out. I had quite a bit of fun with that comp. With that said, I think that's about it for Nimrod. Thank you for going over his kit with me. I hope to see you in the next one.